Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the KISS Europe race out on Zwift. Riders are just about to get going here in a minute and 40 seconds, and they've got a serious effort out in front of them in just a few minutes here. They are going to be doing the Watopia Pretzel course. Watopia Pretzel course is on tap today, so this is going to be a serious battle up the mountain, all the way to the tower, and then back down the other side for not a full pretzel, but a half pretzel. So a total of 31 kilometers, but a whole lot of climbing to the top of the mountain today. I do have Jonathan Noblet. Welcome, Jonathan, Vision Cycling Productions Manager. How's it going, Johnny?
I'm doing good, thanks. Yeah, it's going to be a brilliant race today. Very exciting. A lot of climbing and a big descent off the back of the tower. It's going to be great, Nathan.
Yeah, it's going to be intense, I think. Very intense. We do have riders warming up right now. One of the favorites when it comes to climbing is out there. It's going to be a little delayed with a few of them, but we do have Joachim Plujmers here. We hammering away, it looks like, from Team Experimental is going to be with us. We do have another one who has won the KISS pretzel race in the past. Kim Little is here, also from Team Experimental. We've got Stephen Flitwood also on Zwift on board with the A Racers. I believe that is... Oh, no, we also got Joseph Bank in there as well from the A's. We do have a few B's and C's warming up, but we're going to keep eyes on what happens with the A's and the B's for right now. We'll go back to my capture quick here so we make sure to see what the start looks like from the get-go. Joseph Bank out of the saddle, 8 watts per kilogram right from the get-go. Allenby is in here as well. I believe we do have him on Zwift on board as well, so we'll try and grab his perspective here momentarily. I think he just loaded up, and I'll have to find his stream here in just a second. But we do have, it looks like, Joseph Bank, BRT, Fleetwood here from Vision Cycling. Hemsley, another Vision Cycling rider we haven't seen in a while, jumping in on the pretzel. So good to see him jumping in here to rock it for the half pretzel route. It's going to be intense, man, with these boys. I have a feeling we're going to see somewhere between 4 to 5 watts per kilogram plus all the way to the top of the mountain to try and break things apart. And, you know, we were saying that it's tactical. It's mainly a tactical from an effort standpoint once you hit the mountain. You don't want to fall off, obviously, at this point. You don't want to reserve too much at this point, as riders are most likely going to be wanting to reserve a little bit prior to actually hitting the mountain, but and not get dropped off. You don't want to burn any matches prior to getting there, but we do see H. Gill here just hanging on. El Sousa out of Portugal as well. Jaber here coming out of France. Puxak here as well out of Canada. Jay Olsen as well out of the real country, Denmark. David Williams, here is his perspective, hammering away after his warm-up. There is David, actually. We can jump on over to his perspective, and he's actually pretty close. His internet must be pretty dang good, as he's only about 6 seconds or so from that KRT team. He did add a cool little feature for his webcam to be shifting back and forth, as you guys could see from the perspective of what it looks like for him on his full bike there. Also what it looks like for the face grimace as well. So it looks like he's looking pretty good at this point. Sitting in the pack, not really allowing it to go much of anywhere just yet. And then it looks like Joachim is actually comfortable enough before he even hits the climb to be messing around with something. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it looks like he's getting a little bit of food going there, maybe. No, the headphones. He's getting the headphones so he can hear Nathan probably yell about what the effort looks like right now out on course. Kim Little, I am looking at him. He is hanging around his teammate here, Joachim. I think these two are going to have a serious plan on their hands here, and this is a team who uses Discord or TeamSpeak. I think they have their own private TeamSpeak server. So don't you think, Johnny, they're going to be communicating a lot about how to try and get the W today?
Yeah, you know, these guys, Team Experimental, they're one of these teams that they know how to play the race. They know the strategies. They know what to do. We've seen in the past, we've seen people like Casey Shum, their triathlete, their TT man. He sits at the front and he helps pace those guys up the mountain, and then the guys attack off the top. We know the kind of tactics that Kim Little has to play in this. So yeah, Team Experimental, they are the team to watch in these type of races.
Definitely. And now we do have the B race starting. I'm so glad we have Zwift on board because I just saw it out of the corner of my eye over in the streaming software. So I can go ahead and grab real quick what the start of this B race is looking like. Here is Sebastian Kuhn absolutely killing it right from the get-go, up and out of the saddle. He's up into that orange numbers. It looks like 6 watts per kilogram or so right now. Sebastian Kuhn representing Vision Cycling there. Coming out of Germany right off the bat, 165 beats per minute with that super high cadence. You can always see this guy's legs are always doing like 102 RPMs all the way through. Very well disciplined rider when it comes to the steady cadence of Mr. Sebastian Kuhn. I'm going to see, do we have any other B riders on the Zwift on board today? I think it's just going to be Sebastian's point of view for the Bs today that we'll be able to catch. We do have a C rider warming up right now. Richard Sudsworth here is also warming up. They're still hanging out in the pens right now, so we can get Richard's perspective there. He's getting ready to go here in the C race. Just about a minute to go for Richard, so we'll make sure to catch their start in just a moment. But now we do have the A's. They have taken the turn toward the mountain. We'll go ahead and head on over to Joachim and see how they're doing. Look, he's looking to be getting into a TT position right now and trying to looks like just save as much energy as possible, 139 beats per minute. You definitely don't want that heart rate to go up too high. Don't want to burn any matches, as we were saying, at all prior to that mountain they're about to climb. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner of his screen, you can see that they're at a 0% gradient, but you can see that that gradient is about to go up for a very long time. And I'm assuming, what do you think the time's going to be to the top? I mean, with the attacks and the pushing of each other, I mean, when I do intervals to the top, I'm looking at 19 to 20 minutes or so, but this is a different story when you're racing. It's not intervals, it's people attacking and pushing you beyond, you know what I mean, of what you would even do in an interval situation. What do you think, John?
Yeah, well, I think we'll see something below the 19s, maybe in the 18s region, like Kim Little and Joachim. These are guys, they're like mountain goats. They can push up really hard up this mountain. But we do have other riders as well who have got good pace, you know. Alan B, depending on how he's played his trainer out, you know, he might be able to kind of get down in a TT position and kind of just really pace it and TT right up the mountain. So we see some really fast times, and not forgetting we've also got Duffy Williams from the KRT team. You know, he's shown before that he's a really strong rider. So I think we'll see something in the sub 18s. I think.
Sub 18. We're looking for sub 18 today. That'd be absolutely amazing. Here is Daffyd that you were just talking about from his perspective. They're about to hit the uphill gradient. They are heading right into that 9% grade or so. So this is what it looks like. 380, 400 watts, 144 beats per minute. All these boys playing it very smart today so far, as you can see, but it's not going to be about smarts in just a moment here. It's going to be all about just pure grueling pain as they head into the initial climb. It does bump into about 5 to 7% grade. Then it'll level out over the bridge. I'll go ahead and get us a quick little perspective of what that is going to be like. They're about to take a left-hand turn here in the B race, and then we'll be able to get a look at what it looks like from the top-down view from the mountain here in just a minute. Oh, and we lost the... Let's get these guys. There we go. There's a left-hand turner on to the B course. If we can bring this in right here. Now, so this is the back of the B race right now. It looks like Stomsholm from Vision here hanging on. It looks like a few riders have fallen off already in the Bs. Kimmelini here out of Norway, as well as Whitlock's Chalmers. Bastaltz is in here coming out of Canada, one of the infamous riders out on course, making it into the Zwiftcast and showing up for a killer King of the Mountain climb over in Vancouver. It was great to meet Bastaltz and his brother, the Choppa. Sternfalk, though, at the front here, it looks like, coming out of Norway, and here they head into that mountain route. This is the last little section of the underwater course that you can see here, and then they will head in the upper right-hand corner. You do see that course profile, and they will head into that steady 5 to 7% grade. And at the top, what does it get up into? I think it's like 16% at its max for the tower climb. Is that right, Johnny?
Yeah, you know, it goes pretty high. I think it's 15, maybe not quite 16, but, you know, for that sort of climb, you know, it gets really hard when you swing rounds. You know, well, it's not really a swing, it's more a drag round, that right-hand bend of that final stretch. You know, it's it's a pretty, it's going to be a hard one, and you never know, it might not be the hardest one in the future, but right now it is hard enough.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, that might not be the hardest one. Do you have some information that I don't have?
I know nothing. I'm just seeing a little bit of lava on the horizon. I'm wondering if that's going to explode.
Oh my goodness! Is somebody? I don't even know of this stuff. What is going on here? Johnny's got privileged information.
I just follow the Zwift blog and I see everything on there.
Ah, gotcha. So Zwift blog with a little bit of inside information, it sounds like. I do have one of the juggernauts did just log in to his Zwift on board. I do have it up in front of me here. It looks like Allenby, though, is he off the front or off the back? I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead over here.
Back, yeah.
It looks like he's a little bit off the back, 464 watts or so, maybe with a little bit of technical difficulty, 167 beats per minute, and that is a surprising sight to see, as here they are heading up toward Ludendorff is there a little bit behind him, and heading, I'm trying to get from my perspective here, Allenby, I can see where he's at. He's right around the middle of the bridge. And he's chasing down Bank and Fleetwood, it looks like, at this point right now. So absolutely killing it looks like, at 440 watts, but having to make a huge chase, making that avatar get up and out of the saddle over and over again in order to try and chase things down. We do have the perspective here also of Joseph Bank, who is a part of the second chase group at this point. 313 watts, 176 beats per minute or so, it looks like, as they're about to exit the bridge section of the mountain route. This is the first little, they did that first little kick at that 7% grade, and then it kind of levels out a little bit. Now they're about to head into that Italian village, and it's going to be a super, super intense climb from that point on. I'm going to try and get a solid picture here for you guys of what the mountain route exactly looks like from a top-down perspective. I at least have what that bridge section looks like for you. So they've already climbed all the way over the bridge. They're about maybe a quarter way up or so, about 2 to 3 minutes, maybe even 4 minutes in, and now they're going to head into this village here on the right-hand side, and that's when the party really starts, I think, because you start getting these undulation changes. You're about 5 minutes into the climb at that point. 5 minutes is about what you can handle when it comes to a VO2 max effort, when it comes to an over threshold effort. Anybody who's really over effort at that point, anybody who's really done a little bit too much at that point, is going to start really suffering. We were looking at Joseph Banks' avatar. Now we can see his full-on perspective here. He is off the back from the front. Alexis Luge is just a little ways up from him. The Hedgehog is just about 6 or 7 seconds up from him, so he's trying to make that chase. He's actually leading this group out of Moldestead. It looks like out of Norway. Halstead as well. Kerr is there as well. Coop. Schwart is there. M. Schwart there, coming out of the US of A, also at about 5 watts per kilogram or so, as they head into the village section of the course. I am looking a little bit ahead of the rider where we have their perspective of right now, and I can see now that Allenby has made contact of what I am going to assume is the front of the race. Pierre Ficati is here, it looks like, off the front just a little bit. If I go on back to our perspective here at 6 watts per kilogram from the ODZ team, making his attack, making his stamp on this race at 186 beats per minute. But here is Plujmers looking fairly calm and steady at this point at the front of the race. Let's see if I can get Joachim's perspective here real quick for you boys. All I got is Kim. Maybe I'll have to open up Joachim's stream back up. I think I lost him for a second. Yeah, it looks like I've lost him. I'll try and get Joachim's stream back up here for you guys in just a minute. But Kim Little is right there, right along with him, actually. The Team Experimental boys, as you can see, are side by side. And here goes Kim up and out of the saddle, 382 watts. You can see the threat from Pierre Ficati. He knows he's 2 seconds up at this point, and now he's making that chase. And there is Joachim right on his wheel. And so we definitely are seeing a little bit of team tactics. Here's Kim Little's perspective from real life, but then we go right back over to Joachim's avatar as he goes ahead to try and grab the wheel of his teammate, and we're going to have two Team Experimental boys going off the front just a little bit. How is David looking at this point? It looks like he's trying to hang on, and the attack has been so serious coming from Daffyd. The attack has been super serious, and if we go ahead and look, you can see the pain of trying to hang on. Just as we had said, about 5 minutes in or so to the climb, that's all you can handle at over threshold, and now he's starting to go fade backwards just a little bit. Now it's going to be whether or not he can hold steady at this 4.5 to 5.0 all day long to the top of the climb and hold off those that are behind him, because at this point he's holding a steady 4.6, 4.8, 310 watts or so, 152 beats per minute, letting that heart rate drop a little bit as he might have went a little bit over effort. And now we can see that the difference between himself and the other riders here, Appleby, Bond, Hine, and Luge, it looks like, is about 15 seconds. So he did gain 15, but he's got to be consistent all the way to the top to hold on to that. We do have D. Pittner here out of Germany trying to chase him down that level 15 kit. Only 5 seconds back. Maybe these two will get together and try and push each other to the top of the mountain. Now looking back a little bit, we do want to make sure to cover everybody's race, and we do have the B race here hammering away 168 beats per minute coming from Kuhn. It looks like he is just heading into the mountain village actually right now for the, is that the front of the B race? I'm gonna have to take a look here real quick and see. I do see B. Masterson just a little bit off the, well, quite a bit off the front. It looks like at this point, a solid 7 watts per kilogram heading through the village section out on course. But Kuhn is keeping, it looks like, the front of the race fairly within sights. I do see right here, yep, Kuhn is a part of a chase group trying to bring Masterson back in. He's about 2 seconds back, it looks like, from Bergton and Wilson and Graytrick, actually. And if we go ahead and head on over here, this is the front of the race. And as you can see here, the avatar we were just looking at is Kuhn right here. And so about a 2 second gap, but he's right on the back of this train heading up the mountain, and they're about halfway or so for these B riders to the top. Will slow at the top. We're seeing somebody saying that they're going to slow down at the top. I don't know, man. You're going to want to go fast at the top. That's the point where you can gain, right? I mean, really, if you've got speed at the top, that's the place where you can get the most amount of distance between yourself and other riders if you've got the legs to put the speed down, because the speed differences can be so incredibly huge. So we do have Cartwright, it looks like, Patterson, Purificati, Allenby, Kim Little off the back now. So it looks like there was an attack that went down through that castle. Let's see if we can see the castle. We've got nothing but snow. Nothing but snow, boys and girls. But as we look, they are heading through the snow section out on course. We're not going to be able to get anything from our helicopter, but they did go through a castle section recently. This is where things really start to turn to screws. You're 10 minutes in. If you are over at this point, you just go completely backwards. And if you have put too much out on course, 10 minutes into this full-on effort or so, Purificati here, 5.7 watts per kilogram, and now is when people can really start to drop others off out on course. Patterson, Purificati, Cartwright, and Allenby are the ones we are seeing here, and here's Allenby's perspective. He made his way right back to the front of the race. As you can see here, 166 beats per minute, just hanging on to the back of Cartwright, Purificati, and Patterson's wheel, but 6 watts per kilogram on the front there. The TT specialist holding steady and not following. He's not doing these surges. Looks like he's just going to hold steady, and assume that my 5.5 or so is going to bring you back in. You go right ahead and go over all you want over that effort, because I can hold steady all day long right here. As you can see here, 164 beats per minute brings it right back in to contention, and they're not going anywhere, it looks like. Now back to Kim Little. I am going to go ahead and see. Here's Kim Little right now. He has fallen off pace. He did win the last pretzel race that we did cover, I believe. He made that TT switch at the top. And I wonder, do you think we're going to see any TT swaps today, Mr. Noblet? Did we lose Johnny altogether? I think we lost Johnny. Yeah, we lost Johnny altogether. Johnny had VMix open, and I think it might have been a little too much for his Maybe a little bit too much for the system. But Kim Little here, 5.1 watts per kilogram. Kalen, 5.4, just a little bit back from him as well. And then we do have Fulford here from Vision Cycling in this pack, trying to chase down Kim. Did we lose? And then Plusmers is in here as well. Plusmers. So a lot of our streamers are actually making the front group at this point. I'm gonna see if we had that audio stereo mix in the background that whole time. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't realize that was coming through that whole time. But then going through here, I'm going to see if I can grab Mr. Joachim and get his perspective, as this is one that I think we're going to want to watch out for all the way to the top of this climb. So here we go with Joachim. We're going to bring him in here. I believe he should be live right now. And here we go. Here is Mr. Joachim Plusmer's perspective right now. 7.1 watts per kilogram, making that chase, it looks like. Up and out of the saddle, absolutely killing himself. That is the face of suffering for sure. He's actually got a first-person perspective right now, it looks like, out on course. I'm going to go ahead and load up our chat to see what chat has been saying about the recent continual Zwift in the background music. That must have been interesting for the stream. So Joachim here now, solid 5.3 watts per kilogram, 167 beats per minute in the chase group. It looks like it's about a 17-second gap between himself and the front of the race, though. So super intense, it looks like, at the front of the race. And D. Allenby here, only 1 second up. So it looks like Joachim, actually, no, 24 seconds between Allenby and Plusmers, actually. So now the gap is starting to go out, but their wattage is dropping. Cartwright, though, is really starting to turn the screws, it looks like, at the front of this race. 5.2 watts per kilogram right now coming from Cartwright. We're going to go ahead and go back to the front of the race. Here is Tim Cartwright, it looks like, 4.8. Not wanting these boys to come back, and now it's going to be a battle to the top between these four. Cartwright, Purificati, Patterson, Allenby, all here right now. You guys couldn't hear the music? Okay, that's a good thing. I'm really glad that you guys could not hear the music. Maybe did I have it silenced perhaps? I'm not sure if I killed it or not, but I'm glad that you guys couldn't hear the music if it wasn't going out. That is a really good thing. I looked over and I saw in my audio mixer this music coming out, and I was like, what is going on here? So now open up the audio stereo mix right now as well. Maybe that's why, did we not get Johnny coming through? Perhaps maybe that's what was going on. So Purificati, Patterson, Cartwright, it looks like here. 7.0 watts per kilogram coming from Purificati, 6.2 now. Patterson with a little bit of attack up and over the top here. Allenby, 2.8 now. And we're seeing people are saying this is my favorite part of the climb. This is one of the hardest part of the climbs. We get these little undulations, as you can see, as they go past the hot air balloons out on course. And we'll see if anybody's just full of hot air at this point and ready to go absolutely backwards. As Patterson, man, these boys have put out such a huge effort all the way to the top. The current top time is a 1941 on Z Power, and I believe these boys are going to smash that. Allenby now bringing it back to 1.5 watts per kilogram or so. And so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can grab Allenby's perspective and look at what that looks like as he brings it back. 158, look at that. So starting to rest it up a little bit, knows that there might be some attacks coming up and over the top of the climb. So here is Allenby, just kind of sitting in, grabbing a draft, being very tactical, as you can see. We do have David Williams here, who's just coming past those hot air balloons, as you can see. He is about, it looks like, a minute and a half back from these boys that we were just looking at, Allenby and the others. Fleetwood is there as well. Looks like he's just coming into a section that's just behind David, actually, and is about to cross over that old wooden bridge, actually, heading into the hot air balloon section. So he's about 2 minutes or so back, I believe, from the leaders out on course right now. Joseph Bank is here as well, and you can see that he's right around that, I believe he's right near Daffod, actually, out on course. I move backwards just a little bit. Kim Little and Pluzmers, it looks like, though, are making a solid effort to try and get back on terms with the front of the race. It looks like very tactical, actually, as I move back to their perspective. Here is Kim Little, and him and Pluzmers, I have a feeling they got a plan. They're sticking together fairly well at this point, and they're not really letting those boys go much of... I mean, they've got a gap. They got a solid gap. I'm not going to say they don't have a gap, but there are two teammates here that definitely have a lot of horsepower in the legs. Very good climbers, but the two Team Experimental boys may be trying to play some sort of a tactical game to at least try and close it down as they come down the other side of the mountain. Johnny, it looks like you're back in here. Did you restart Discord thinking that it was on your end? Let's see if I can get Johnny back in here. I do see him in there, but I'm not here. Yeah. Johnny, are you there?
Yeah. Was it on your end that I got kicked?
It was completely on my end. You could have just yelled at me in Discord. Nathan, something's wrong. They're not hearing you in the. I opened up my vMix on my end, and I saw green coming through, and just never opened up you on the audio board. That's all. I apologize. So new software, boys and girls, we're getting used to. It's awesome. It's amazing. But here and there, just got to remember every base that we have to cover. So we are looking now at the main chase group, though, with Kim Little and Joachim Pluzmers, both coming from Team Experimental. Pluzmers, who brought down Cartwright and Allenby recently in a race out on the London course, is trying to chase down the juggernauts of Cartwright and Allenby, but they've got a full-on 12 seconds. 12 seconds isn't that much, Johnny. What do you think? I mean, are they going to do this?
I don't know. It depends when we get to this climb, because it gets really steep. And, we've seen some of these guys here. We've got Kaeland, Pluzmers, these guys, they've got something in their legs, and maybe they're going to take it a little bit easier as they go over this ramp, and then they're going to power up that climb. And you never know, on the descent with a TT bike, they could have a lot of, close that gap pretty quick.
Yeah, and if they do make the TT swap, do you think we're going to have a lot of TT swaps? That's the question, I wonder.
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, I remember looking, the last time we did this race, I think it was about 4 or 5 weeks ago, we saw so many people hanging over the edge of their handlebars on TT bikes. They're hanging onto the aero bars after the finish line. There's a lot of people changing. I'd say, at least half of them will change, because we know it's it's a good move to make. Yeah, and who was I think we're looking at the original TT swapper, the original one right now. This is Kim Little. I don't know,
in a race that was live, live that we were broadcasting, he's the original TT swapper.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, I think Kim definitely did it in that race. It was the Kiss Down Under race back in September. But there was Brandon Melton-Tallow. I do believe he did it over in the PRETZEL race for the Canyon Challenge back in early on in the year.
Yep. And now I don't know what is going on here, but. Daffod, for some reason, was swapping his jersey in the middle of his climb. I just saw him swapping jerseys for some reason in the middle of his climb, which was kind of funny to see. But he is about to come on over the top of the mountain climb for the section that he goes by what is that thing? I call it a mountain goat, but I always get corrected. It's actually a something else.
Is that an ibex? Is that what
ibex,
it is?
There we go. Thank you so much.
I
always forget what it's called. Yeah, it's an ibex. So here's Daffod coming around. He is still, it looks like, a little ways behind the leaders, probably a minute or so behind the leaders. He threw down a solid effort, though, it looks like, somewhere around 20 minutes and 13 seconds. That's a killer effort, actually. That's still super, super fast to the top. But the fast boys today, we're doing right around 18 minutes. Now, as we said earlier, though, we're looking at I'm about to look at the front of the race right now. And here we go with Tim Cartwright, Pierre Ficati. And they brought it back within 5 seconds, but now I think Pierre Ficati and Cartwright saw the effort that was coming from Pluzmers and Little, and they did not want it to close it down. But this, you can see the mountain, the top of the mountain right there, and it doesn't feel like, it doesn't seem like it's that far, but it feels like forever. At 14% grade that we're looking at right now, it just feels like it takes so long to get so little distance. 189 beats per minute. Pierre Ficati is full on, I think, right now. He's already done about 20 minutes, probably over threshold, absolutely just burying himself. And Allenby here hanging on. Cartwright's there as well. Patterson's not going anywhere. These boys are just hammering on each other, trying to break this group apart before the last section of gravity really taking its toll on the riders right now. We can go ahead and take a look at what this looks like. We do have Allenby's effort. This last little grind to the top, 168 beats per minute, 450 watts, trying to follow Pierre Ficati, who is such a strong climber. You can just see it. And we do see the chase coming out here from Joachim up and out of the saddle as well, trying to get back on terms with the front of the race. We do have Kim Little, his teammate there, going right along with him, head down, actually up and out of the saddle, killing it right now. He's actually got two webcams going, which is really cool to get those two perspectives, but they're a little bit off from each other, just so you guys know. So one of them looks like the face cam is a little bit closer to real time than the side cam there, but we do see Kim Little trying to make that chase to the top, but they are going out little by little. It looks like about 18 seconds is the difference between these boys. So Team Experimental is going to have to work together. My question is, are they going to actually change to TT bikes, or are they going to work together since they're close to each other and take poles, because they can rest a little bit over the top to try and chase down this guy right here, David Allenby, who's trying to chase down Pierre Ficati, actually, who's 1 second up on him. Cartwright is going with Pierre Ficati, so there is a little bit of a gap at the front of the race as they come over the top. Do you think it's worth it to maybe not swap up if you got a teammate?
I don't know, these guys might be chatting to each other in TeamSpeak or Discord, and they might decide that one of them's going to go for the win. So maybe one of them will swap to TT bike and then pace the other guy back down the mountain and up over the reverse KOM, and maybe that's how they'll play it, a little bit of a sacrifice to help your fellow teammate.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they have communication. That's the question. If they have the communication to make it happen, that's, then they may go for that. But I don't know if they're sitting in the Team Experimental Discord or TeamSpeak, because I haven't seen them talking a whole lot. I'm not sure a whole lot of talking is going to be happening though over the top of this climb. Now we do see Allenby here was able to grab on to the wheel. And here it is. Here's the swap, boys and girls. It's happening. There's Little. He's gotten the TT bike out. We just saw the swap, and he's trying to get back with the power. He couldn't get his power going there quick enough for some reason. It was taking him just a little while there to make it happen. I don't know. The scone is strong with this one. You can see it in the upper left-hand corner. He's got the scone. What's on the scone? What is on the thing? Is that
looks
jam?
Like cream. I think it's probably cream and jam. Yeah,
cream and jam. I don't know. Is it going to happen? I wonder if he's got anything saved up underneath the scone power right now. 30 minutes in, it looks like, to this race. He swapped out to the TT bike. Will he be able to catch his teammate? He's got Fulford chasing him down, it looks like, a little ways behind. I am getting eyes here real quickly on Kuhn's perspective, who's about to take a left-hand turn, actually, in the B race. So we do have the B race heating up here. He just is turning over here, it looks like, onto the tower climb, actually. So is this the front of the B race? No, it's not. He's about, it looks like, 26 seconds back, maybe, from the front of the B race. We do have Great Trick here, it looks like, about to start his climb. Celery here, S-Celery here as well. I think S-Celery is actually the front of the B race with Stevens and a few others. But if I move back here and take a look at Kuhn, here is his perspective, 166 beats per minute or so, trying to chase down the front of the B race. So currently, at the front of the B race, it is our Stevens, Jones, Celery, T-Comb. Great Trick is about 5 seconds back from them with Engard out of Denmark. Chalmers as well from the KRT in the B race is right alongside Kuhn, actually. So if I go back to my perspective, here is Chalmers, Kuhn, Vision Cycling coming from Vision Cycling out of Germany. It is Sebastian Kuhn. Chalmers from the KRT team. Then we do have Kimolini coming from GTD. Do you know what the GTD team is? I have never seen that before.
No, it's a new one to me. I'll see if I can find it on Zwift Power. I'll resource for all the information.
Yeah, Zwiftpower.com, you guys, if you need any information on teams, individuals, the current live results of this race, head on over to Zwiftpower.com to see all of that information. Wilson, Lund here, all making a great chase group, it looks like. And we're going to head back to the top. We can see Felix Hemsley actually in the A race as well. Gunskin is here. Kerr, Staples, man, these boys are just absolutely demolishing themselves. It looks like toward the back end of the A race right now, we do have Joseph Bank, who is live with us right now, and we're looking at about 181 beats per minute as he crests over the top of the pretzel half here, and over the front end of this mountain route. Joseph's absolutely killing it, 181 beats per minute, and staying right alongside El Sousa and Goran here, it looks like. And solid effort coming from Joseph Bank out of the US of A as they head on down. He's not going to make a swap, it looks like. Looks like he's sticking with the group that he's with here. And the swap is dangerous because if you don't got the power to throw down on the other side, it can be very difficult to, even on that TT bike, make up the time. We do have Fleetwood. Go ahead. What's up?
So we're saying about TT bike swap. Now, one of the guys who didn't make it, who we thought we usually would do, was David Allenby from Vision Cycling. But Tim Cartwright from KRT did actually make the swap, and he's now chasing Allenby down, and he's gaining really fast on Allenby down this descent. You know, it was up to 50 seconds, and now we're coming down to 14 seconds.
Oh my goodness, it's down to 14.
Quite a way to go. Yeah, so this gap is closing really fast.
And this is like toward the end of the race. Is that Allenby off the front then? He is, isn't he?
Yeah,
Pierre Ficati is down by 43 seconds, it looks like. Patterson is right alongside, it looks like Pierre Ficati, but Cartwright has dropped all of them, and you can see it on that screen there from Allenby. And now Allenby's perspective, they're like, oh, shoot, that guy's got a T. I think I even seen him say, maybe it wasn't, oh, shoot, but he was like, dang it, that TT bike is coming for me. And he might have to play a tactical race here and draft off the TT bike once it gets there. Because look at that, 7 seconds. Look at the seconds come down. That TT bike is just so strong. I think Allenby, though, at this point does know what's happening and is actually backed off so that he can grab that wheel as soon as Cartwright comes up to them. And what's great about this situation is these two actually race each other in real life. So like they've raced each other in real life before. They know each other a little bit, and so seeing the battle play out at the front of this KISS race in real life, we get a real life perspective right now of Allenby trying to hold off his fellow competitor out of Great Britain here, Tim Cartwright, who's swapped over to the TT bike.
Yeah, we see Cartwright pumping it up now. He's pumping up to 700 watts because he needs to fly right by Allenby and kind of drop that draft. And it looks like he isn't quite going to get it as Allenby pushes up to equal that power as well.
Yeah, it looks like. Oh, and he did try. He did go for that that drop. Oh my goodness, 1,000 watts, boys and girls. And Allenby able to stay on. Cartwright wanted to go flying right on by because now the reality is that if Allenby attacks and has more effort than Cartwright does, then there will be no draft for Cartwright. So Cartwright has to that's the thing, like the TT bike is faster. The TT bike is faster, but it cannot draft. And so now Allenby can draft on Cartwright all day long. So now the game that Cartwright has to play, I think, at this point is he has to actually drop his wattage. He has to actually just say, okay, I'm not going to take any pulls whatsoever, and then I'm only going to attack you. I mean, it's going to be a complete cat and mouse game, and you're seeing this because of the swap up of the bikes. That's what's causing this cat and mouse game at the front of this race right now. We are going back then to the B race momentarily here. Well, I'm going to have to real quickly here, just popping over the top here in the B race, we can see Eskun. It looks like he is a little ways back from the front of the B, sitting somewhere in the top 10 or so. And then we can see that R. Stevens is just coming over the top as well. Celery here still leading out the B race, I believe, with, it looks like he's been able to drop off a few of the riders that were around him. I believe Celery is in the front of the B race right now. I'm going to go ahead and head on over to the C race. We do have a few of the riders that are hanging out in the C race. We still have their perspective, actually. We've got Richard Sudworth here, we want to make sure to highlight some of the C's. It looks like he's doing fairly well, hanging in with a group with Dunn, it looks like, there, as well as rider coming out of Spain. M Turbo there as well, coming out of Switzerland. And I'm going to see if I can grab their perspective as I move backwards on the course here. If I can move backwards on the mountain route, I might be able to grab their perspective. But this is 214 watts or so, 168 beats per minute coming from Sudworth, hammering away here, trying to make it to the top of the mountain route in that C race. Here we go. So I do have a perspective here of the front of the C's. It looks like I do from my perspective. This is the front right here. So there is Harcourt here out of Great Britain. Maybe Elmead is actually the front of the C's, I think, actually, but then it is Harcourt sitting in second place. So Southerner, it looks like Mr. Sutherland or Sudsworth just a little ways back, just making his way through that undulation point out on course, probably sitting somewhere in the top 40 or so from Mr. Richard there in the C race right now. Doing fairly well, actually about to hit the hardest part of the course, though, as they make their way to that last little kick into that 6% grade.
Yeah, with Tower, it's it's a horrible thing to get, to go up. I think people moan about, well, don't really moan, they kind of complain a little bit about that. A little bit of a climb going up to Trafalgar Square in London on the other Zwift course. This one's a really hard one. That was just like a little trip up the stairs to go to bed. This one is a really hard climb.
Yeah, for sure. This is the mountain route. We had waited so long for the mountain route, and then once we got it, everybody went and rode it, and then suddenly it started to get kind of quiet on the mountain for a little while, unless there's events going up it. And I think that's the cool thing with Zwift is the events. Right now we are looking at Stephen Fleetwood out in no man's land a little bit, about looks like 50 seconds back from the next rider up ahead of him. It looks like it is Whiteley, I believe, coming out of Great Britain. But that's the cool thing about racing these events, being a part of these events out on Zwift, is they push you. Think about how hard these riders are pushing themselves to the top of this mountain because they have all of these people to ride with right now out on course to push themselves to the top, to their absolute max right now. And Fleetwood here, 172 beats per minute, just going super, super steady right now, trying to hold off or grab onto the wheels of any of the riders that are around him. Looks like he stayed on a regular road bike rather than swapping to a TT.
Yeah, it could have been a good decision to make, when you have that far back in the pack to kind of get groups of the guys. So Nathan, we're talking about events and racing on Zwift, but we also have, Zwift have also put on the missions that we seem to be getting every month now, regular monthly missions.
Yeah, so there is the triple play mission this month that you can enter a giveaway for a specialized bike, actually, that if you ride the mission on each course, for each course that you ride the mission on, you get an entry. So you got to log in for the Watopia course and you enter in for that, and then you can log in for the Richmond course or the London course when they're live, or I don't know if getting in on them otherwise does open up the event or not. I haven't checked that out, or the mission or not. But once you complete 50K, after you've entered, so you actually have to enter. You can't just go and ride 50K on the course. You have to enter the mission. It should be in the upper left-hand corner when you get into your choose your event that you're going to jump into and choose riders to ride with. In the upper left-hand corner, you should see the event. If you haven't done it yet, you should see the mission on the left-hand side. The events are on the right-hand side, and you'll be able to enter that. Once you've completed it, won't show up any longer, but then you log into the next course and it should show up. If you haven't completed it already, you can get 3 entries to be a part of the drawing to win that specialized bike, actually. So very cool missions. We had the trike mission last month. And that was a lot of fun, actually. I like those a lot, Johnny, don't you? The ones where they add a new feature to the game and you saw these people riding around on trikes. That was so cool.
Nah, I feel like the gamified side, it kind of helps push people really hard, kind of try things new. And talking about pushing, David Allenby has just broken away from Cartwright on the reverse KOM going underneath the underneath the Zwift aliens there.
So, man, this course is so relentless. Not only did they have to climb to the top of the mountain, but then we got to do the other hardest climb out, well, the third hardest climb out on course, which is the reverse KOM on the Watopia backwards route. I mean, oh my goodness. Like, now it's about a 4-minute climb to the top, all out. He might do it in less than that, actually, at 168 beats per minute, 427 watts. Allenby absolutely demolishing himself up into that 5 to 6 watts per kilogram. He's been able to drop off Cartwright on that climbing section, as it does climb slower, actually, the TT bike, and he cannot get a draft on him. So we've got Allenby's perspective here. I cannot find them on my screen right now because I am actually on the mountain route and I can't escape it right now from my perspective, but I do at least have Zwift on board, which is such a huge help right now to get us the front of the race perspective. We do have Joachim here. They are just starting. Him and Kim Little are just starting their climb up the reverse KOM. They are a solid minute back from Pierre Ficati, it looks like. But it looks like Kim Little is right alongside Joachim here. And it looks like Kim Little is on that TT bike, but is being dropped off, it looks like, by his teammate, Joachim Plusmers. T. Kaland is in there from the KRT, so it is a battle between the KRT boy and Joachim and Kim Little right now that we are looking at. And Kim maybe be able to bring it back on that TT bike, but we're seeing a common theme, the TT bike on that climb, not able to hang on with the attacks coming from the other boys that are on the lighter bikes, the faster bikes that go uphill. So here is Joachim here, hanging onto the wheel of, is that, who is that? Is that Van Geit that we're looking at from TKBE? I can't quite get a full picture here. Let's see if I can bring it in from, I'm going to see if I can get the reverse KOM here real quick from my perspective.
Yeah, I believe it is Van Geit, K Van Geit. I'm from TKBE, yep. It looks like that rider is there coming out of Belgium.
Okay, yep, gotcha. So it is Van Geit coming out of Belgium. He is there with Plusmers, looking at a solid, I think, 5th place if these boys are able to hang on to right here. And Joachim continues to attack, continues to try and get out of the saddle, to try and break Van Geit off of his wheel. But there is Van Geit responding very quickly. He just has to hold 4.0 watts per kilogram. There is drafting in the game of Zwift, so he's definitely hanging on that wheel. They've got 40 seconds to make up on, it looks like, Patterson. It looks like they are not going to be able to catch Patterson. Here's the perspective of Little, who was dropped off from the front of that group as well. Now, moving back over to Allenby.
It looks like it's not over for Allenby with Cartwright on his wheel there.
Oh, my goodness. So Cartwright's only 4 seconds back, it looks like. And he's going to have to really throw down a killer sprint. We are getting a little bit of a lag between us and him here for the moment. I'm going to see if I can get, these guys are all taking a turn from my perspective. Nobody is going, let's see here if I can get anybody who is going straight on this section of the course. It doesn't matter. I'll just do a turnaround. But, okay, we're back with Allenby. He's no longer lagging. So at 5 watts per kilogram or so. Cartwright 7 seconds back. I don't know, 7 seconds over a half K. I think it's like a half K to the finish line. No, it's 1K. I'm sorry. You can see it right there at the top. Oh, I love Zwift on board. Right at the top, 1K to go, 0.9K to go. They're 45 minutes in. This all-out killer effort, half pretzel. Over 1K on a TT bike with a lower CDA. Cartwright's putting out just about as much wattage as he is per kilogram. There he is going forward on this section of course. It's almost all over. It looks like he's still got a little kick. I know he's got about 10 beats to work with yet, as Allenby is only at 164 beats per minute. I think he's going to hold him off.
I don't know. He's getting really, really close. I've still got another 500 meters to go. Might just, could be right where we are
I don't
now.
know. It's right to the line now at this point, and I think that we are going to see the winning move here from Cartwright. From Allenby, as Cartwright's trying to close it down. I'm just not sure he's got the effort left in him at this point. As I do take a look, I do see Plusmers actually making a killer attack here, also over the top of the course, but it is going to be a 3-second gap, and David Allenby here, from his perspective, we're seeing right now, going to win the race outright ahead of Cartwright, and grabs that King of the Mountain jersey as he comes across the line, because he did have the fastest time over the KOM, and he's actually right now, cheers to Tim. Very cool. I did just see him write that out, so very cool to see him write that out on course there live. Now Van Geit does have a little bit of a gap here we're looking at between himself and It looks like Joachim Plusmers, who's trying to close it down. It looks like Pierre Ficati is going to come in for third place, followed by Patterson. That will be third and fourth. And then we will have Van Geit for fifth, I believe, unless Joachim can close it down here for this next session of the course pretty quickly. We do have a lot of riders still bringing it in for Zwift on board. We might be able to see some cool sprints in a moment here in the B race. As we do see Allenby here, though, just cooling down as well with the Zwift on board here at 123, 132 beats per minute. I am trying to find the front of the race from my perspective. A lot of riders who are still taking left-hand turns off of Ocean Boulevard, so it's difficult for me to find those riders. Here we go. Great Trick and Kuhn. I was able to find them. Joachim, though, from his perspective, trying to close it down. Absolutely burying himself, it looks like, with a 1 second gap. It's only 1 second, 7 watts per kilogram. Is he going to do it? Joachim, look at the effort. 176 beats per minute. You see the heart rate going up. He caught Van Geit. He caught him. 450 watts. Is he going to make it all the way to the line? Patterson's only a little ways up as well. This is for, I believe, fifth place out on course. Van Geit's got 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Joachim has done it. He did it. You can see the effort up into 180 beats per minute. Was able to bring him back. Actually, what an effort coming from Team Experimental and Joachim at this point. Now we can see his partner in crime there, Kim Little, just coming across the line just a little ways back. I think he did hold it down for a solid 7th place out on course. We do have this perspective of David Williams here as well. I'm going to keep moving forward and see if I can find the front of the A's here that are still about to cross the line. So David Williams here coming down the opposite. D. Williams coming down the opposite side of the course right now. Of the KOM, the downhill on the other side of the KOM. Finishing out here, he's just ahead of S. Hine as well. Just ahead of S. Hine. And I can get it from my perspective right here. There is a 36-second gap between him and Commissar, who's just about to cross the line. Solid ride for him. T. Fulford did just cross the line for Vision Cycling. Solid ride coming from him. But here is D. Williams at 6.6 watts per kilogram. But Pittner and Moldestedt are coming on strong. And now we are looking at Williams here. He's going to have to really kick. He can see the riders behind him coming on just like freight trains. 156 beats per minute. Look at him look in the corner there. He's seeing the gap being closed down on him. He's got 2 seconds, 7.6 watts per kilogram, up and out of the saddle, trying to hold it down, and it looks like he's just barely gonna do it with 1 second between him and Moldestedt. Moldestedt will come in right behind him with Pittner, then followed by Hain and Maloney. Oh my goodness, and there it is. I said it a little bit early, but he absolutely demolished himself to get across the line there. We did have a little bit of a gap, but there was the instant replay as they came across the line. Solid job between all of those boys. I gave you guys a little bit of a heads up into the future there. As there is the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog now coming across the line in the A race. We do have Joseph Bank, it looks like, here with JA out of Japan about to have their sprint to the line. Let's see how he lines it up. Looks like he's grabbing right onto the wheel of the Z-Power rider, playing it real smart. You can see, look at that calm look on the face, really looking to wait for when it's time to go, hanging on that 6.7 watts per kilogram. When is Joseph gonna make his move? Going right back to my perspective, there's the arrow power up, boys and girls, and I'm gonna see if I can see when he actually throws that thing down. And here it is. He's up and out of the saddle. Does he have something on his handlebars? There's the arrow boost, though. Absolutely goes for it. And up and out of the saddle. Goodbye, it looks like. And 177 beats per minute. Didn't even have to work too hard, it looked like, for it, as he threw that arrow boost down. Solid ride for Joseph Bank there. We do still have, it looks like, Stephen Fleetwood about to bring it in for the A race. But here is Kuhn. We want to make sure to highlight the B racers and the C racers as well. And we do have Kuhn's perspective here. They're just making their way up the other side right now of the Watopia reverse right now. They're making their way up Watopia reverse right now. And as I look here, Alexis Luge is just making his way toward the bottom as well. But this is Kuhn. They're just about to crest over the top. They're almost to the top, trying to hang on with a few of the riders that are a part of a chase group, it looks like, in the B race. But it's Celery. Actually, this S Celery boy in the B race is on Z Power, actually. As I get over to their perspective, his perspective right now, well, actually, on my perspective of S. Celery here out of Great Britain. And on the GoGo Power Rangers, 183 beats per minute, looks like he is going to be able to win the B race. But I believe there may be, I don't know how the official results will end up on ZwiftPower.com. You have to talk to the race officials, or go check it out. I mean, when I say talk to race officials, I mean check it out on ZwiftPower.com for the actual results after the race. But we do have the full-on chase group here. It looks like we're getting a little bit of a jump around here and there. Here is Celery. I'm going to move back a little bit. There is Fleetwood now, actually. So let's get his finish, as we do have him on the Zwift on board. 178 beats per minute. There's a little bit of a smile on his face, as well as a little bit of a grimace. It's one of those, like, I don't know if there's happy suffering going on right now or not, but 179 beats per minute, really trying to get the best time he possibly can, trying to bring back Whiteley a little bit. Looks like it's been a good battle between him and the TFC rider. Is he riding for TFC? I think he is. But he is going to bring it in across the line here, somewhere in, I believe, the top 40 or so for Vision Cycling. Nice job, Fleetwood, there, getting across the line. But Celery here battling out with one of the A riders. There, Fleetwood just about to cross the line here. I just gave him that ride on as he's coming through. And we are seeing a battle a little ways behind him. Great job there to Stephen Fleetwood. Now we do see a battle with Celery here on the GoGo Power Rangers, crossing the line for first place, unofficially out on course in the B race. Trying to move forward here. We're getting a little bit of jump around coming from Zwift here. But Kuhn, is this Kuhn at the front? Did he make his way all the way to the front? He was off the back on the climb, and now we see Sebastian Kuhn, I think, at the front. I'm not sure. Is it the front? Oh, he's trying to chase down Stevens. He's trying to chase down Stevens. He's got a power up. Can he make it happen, it looks like? From my perspective, I can see Stevens just a little ways off the front here. He's got about 4 seconds, and Kuhn is trying to close it down. Here is Stevens' perspective. I do see 3 seconds between him, and it looks like Sebastian Kuhn at 5.7 watts per kilogram going right on back. Will fly him in here, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think Stevens, oh my goodness, Stevens got about 12 watts per kilogram to give. Absolutely killing it. Kuhn tried to make it happen, but Bergton and Stevens up and out of the saddle. It looks like Stevens going to be maybe the unofficial winner. We'll have to see what happens here. But Kuhn, with a solid effort here, going to bring it in for somewhere between 3rd and 4th place out on course in the B race. Great job, Sebastian. Go ahead and give him a ride on.
Yeah, having a look at the guys, the power that these guys have put out as well. Curry, Kuhn, Stevens, all three of them have put up some power over the 4 watts per kilogram limit. So these guys might be in for a bit of a promotion.
A little bit of a surprise there. A little bit of promotion, boys and girls. Oh boy, looks like great job though. Great job. That was a great little race between the guys. For some reason, are you seeing this at the top of Sebastian's screen? It says he didn't. It shows that his finish line is way further out. That's interesting. Interesting to see.
Maybe he's down for the full pretzel race.
Yeah, full pretzel. Let's go, Sebastian. Get going. Full pretzel, baby. So now going on back, we're going to see if we can find any of the C riders out on course. We did get a little turnaround here. Joachim Pluzmers. Is Allenby still streaming? That's my question. Oh, it looks like he's all done. He's walked away from his computer. He's I'm done. He is diggity done. But I do have Joachim here doing a little cool down, 108 beats per minute. Solid ride from Joachim. He did get a top 5 with that effort right at the end. That was a killer effort. That was good to see from him chasing down Mr. Van Geit there out of Belgium. We do have a few riders now making their way to the finish line, though. Not Zwift on board riders, but they are starting to make their way down here as we do see Nicholas here out of France. Nicholas, solid ride for him, bringing it in the B race. But here's a battle. We just missed it there. For some reason, I had that jump around. I'm not sure why, but it was Hagenbakken out of Norway. Just got the better of Kimmelini, it looks like. Maybe a fellow Norwegian, maybe even a buddy that might have been in the same. That'd be cool if they were side by side battling each other. Nicholas, though, just about to cross the line, but we do see Sternfalk here, actually, out of Norway, battling with Chalmers. As we look back here, here's the battle between these boys. 13 watts per kilogram coming from Sternfalk. Chalmers off the back by 2 seconds, not going to be able to hold on to the rider's wheel. There's Chalmers just crossing the line right behind Sternfalk. MD from the BR team, the Bolt Racing team, the same team that Joseph Bank was riding for that we had on the Zwift on board. 8.2 watts per kilogram, 179 beats per minute. S. Figueiredo unable to hang on from the PTZ team, it looks like. But PTZ rider, a little shout out to the Portuguese team. Great job great job for them, and good to see them out on course. M. Burton here now with LeBron as well, coming out of Sweden. Looks like about 7 seconds back from Ofheim here and Burton. So it looks like Burton, actually no, Ofheim is not actually part of the race. Looks like Burton, though, is going to get the better of LeBron. Robson here trying to hold off Joe M from the TFC team coming out of Germany. 8 watts per kilogram up ahead of Otto and Greenwood as well from the TFC. KRT rider trying to get the better of him. Does he got the kick to the line? It's almost there. Ooh, I don't think he got it. Too close to call, maybe. Zwift Power might have a different perspective than I did. But Greenwood and Verhoeven, whoo, the Dutchman comes right on by Greenwood, the TFC rider, unable to make it happen. And now we do see Olsen just coming across the line, barely ahead of S. Lynn. And now we do have Suffolk and Smith here battling out. Looks like Lynn able to do it for the PTZ. Smith now just ahead of Stallings for Vision Cycling. And then there is Masterson, who went a little too hard early on, it looks like, as he did go backwards a little bit in the B race by the finish line. Masterson was way off the front as they came through that village section on the mountain route. Was pushing 7 watts per kilogram, but looks like it went full nuclear in the legs before the finish line. Spencer here with Evans, Thomason, and Pinero here out of Spain. Thomason with a little bit of a power up, but there is a drafting power up right on his wheel. As you can see here, Thomason trying to get the better of the Pinero here, who was riding for PTZ, I thought, but maybe not. Pinero here with that drafting power up is going to be it. Just nipped him, I think. That's going to be up to zwiftpower.com, though. I think he just nipped him, but we'll have to get a photo finish there. Basalt, 7.5 watts per kilogram. The Canadian just getting the better of Boulevant there, coming across the line. We do have still one Zwift on board rider out there making his way toward the finish line, actually. Sudsworth here in the C race, it looks like. Sudworth here. Richard Sudworth hammering away here. He's, it looks like 54 minutes into his race. He's completed, it looks like 14.8 miles, 4.5 miles to go. He still has to do the reverse Watopia climb, and he's got a few riders within his sight still. 37 seconds between him and the next group up, and he is sitting on the wheel of one rider out of Great Britain, B. Barr, right now. So let's see if he can make his way back toward the front of that next group, or hold off the group that's behind him that's chasing. It's about 18 seconds back as he takes on a little water and wipes off the crazy amount of sweat. Hope he's got a fan on him as things look to be heating up over there for him in his race. We do have in caking here as well as Snatters out of the Netherlands, the Dutchman. Gonzalez Nicholson here. Philipson too. Hog Rasmussen out of Denmark. Grenfall and Ellis. And Milo joining in as well in the background. So, Johnny, that was a killer race. Great perspectives there, it looked like, eh?
Yeah, no, it's great. So one of my favourites is any race that goes up the mountain. You know, it's hard, really hard, but yeah, I love the mountain races. It brings a whole new bunch of riders to the racing and a whole new bunch of finishers in the top ranks as well.
And a lot of riders still not finished, actually. It looks like in the C race. Is this the front of the C race? So that was a good race in the A's and the B's, but we still have the C race to be completed, as well as the D race out on course. I think this might be the front of the C's. M. Wilkes, I haven't seen anybody else toward the front here. I may be incorrect though, but Kevin Powell's here with Calvin Powell's, Kevin Powell's the cyclocross champion. No, Calvin Powell's in the C race here, 5.5 watts per kilogram. Milliken here as well. Rob Jones though, absolutely killing it, 9.8 watts per kilogram, part of the B race. Not going to be bested by the C racers here, but it looks like it will be Milliken ahead of the other C racers that were right around him. Moving our way back here, we'll see we've got Jay Fox here from Denmark making his way across the line, it looks like, for about a 4th place out on course.
Yeah, I think quite a lot of seeds have come in at the moment, but quite a lot of them also brand new races as well, as we do see a lot of new races to these every now and then. So some of them may not quite be in the correct category, but Zwift Power help them the next time round. Got a few D's up in there as well, but it's great to see so many new people racing. You look down Zwift Power and there's a lot of people with that black unlinked text down in the list there.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Always great to have new riders. We're seeing over 1,000 people out on course right now. Do you know how many people entered the event? I didn't take a look at the beginning of the race to figure out how many entered.
Zwift Power is picking up 339 riders, so that's, I know this is for a really tough race as well. When we have the flatter races, we're up into the 400s. So for a mountain race, that's incredible numbers, and
339 picked up by Zwift Power. That's huge, huge.
Yeah.
We do see a shuttler from the TFC trying to battle it out with Tsukikawa out of Japan, but it looks like Tsukikawa is going to grab one position ahead in that C race. Bradstock then done, followed by Sullivan. A little bit of a battle here right to the line in the B race. Looks like ST out of Iceland is going to get the better of Tarzinski out of Poland. Then Jacobson just ahead of Jones, and then Dodsworth from the BRT at the back of that pack. Anderson here with Weimer. Now, M. Weimer just 2 seconds back. I'm not sure he's going to be able to catch the rider coming out of Great Britain here. Weimer out of Germany here, trying to throw down, but it's 4.5 watts per kilogram. It's not going to happen. Good job, though, for the rider. Kettenhoon.de is what he's got in his name there. It looks like that's who he's riding for. JK here, 8.4 watts per kilogram. J Cave. And it looks like he's going to get the better of P. Reynolds right at the line as these boys are hammering away. It looks like we do have, what is David doing? David Williams is out here hammering away, it looks like, up the other side, still getting a little bit of a ride in. Going up the backwards, it looks like Watopia climb. Getting a cool down, just a solid, 250 watts or so. Oh, now for some reason he jumped around there. Did you see that? That was interesting. Suddenly, he did transport. He did a little transport there. I don't know what that was all about. But, oh, he was looking at other riders. He's looking at other riders. That's what was going on. I thought he was going up the other side of the climb again, hammering away. I was like, geez, dude. Looking for some extra suffering there out on course. Alex MV. Looks like, is he streaming, Alex MV? Did I miss this rider then? It says stream.
I'm not sure he was. Yeah, I think it wasn't set up last time we checked at 10 minutes before we went live, so possibly not quite in time. But yeah, we've got a lot of riders. We've got we've got about 40 riders now signed up to help make this
40 riders with Zwift on board. Whew. Yeah, we're trying to bring them all in to the fold to get all their perspectives, and we do see Sudworth here making his way to the finish line. He's just starting the reverse climb, so he's probably got about 5, maybe 6 to 7 minutes to go to the finish line, 2.4 miles to go or so, and he is actually hanging with that B bar, and he's actually caught up to that group that was ahead. There was 37 seconds actually, and he's only 1 second behind now at this point. Looks like Richard Sudworth has held on to a solid amount of energy, really paced himself, and he might be able to grab a few spots before the finish line actually with this smart racing out on course. Let's go ahead and see if we can find him from our perspective. Up and out of the saddle now, 172 beats per minute, 215 watts or so. And I'm going to move right on back here. I'm almost right with him. I've got perspective of Andy Beveridge here, right around that same spot of the course, actually. Beveridge trying to chase down Sudworth, about 23 seconds back. Sudworth here, this is his perspective. He's hanging out in that WBR kit. Good to see him in the World Bicycle Relief kit. That recent charity event, awesome event with the Buffalo bikes, giving away tons of Buffalo bikes. Anybody know the number of Buffalo bikes that was given away? Because 45,000 plus whatever we raised, I mean, just crazy amount of bikes going out. That's going to change a lot of lives over in Africa, actually, with that charity event that recently went down on Zwift Road. I think it was almost 300,000 plus miles and raised tons and tons of money for that event, changing real lives, actually. Really cool. So cool to see him hanging out in that kit and supporting that cause. But here's Sudworth 3.0 watts per kilogram. Hammered weights, currently 171 beats per minute. And here's what that looks like at 74 RPMs, trying to drop off Browning, it looks like, from the D race. Kronberg, who's just ahead of him a little bit here. So as we look here, this is Kronberg, 2.5 watts per kilogram on a TT bike. Sudworth, though, that's the thing. He can climb better right now, but the TT bike is faster on a section of course like this when it goes downhill. And so Sudworth is going to have his work cut out for him, as Santa Maria here out of Canada is trying to hold off Kronberg as well. K Knight is just a little ways up. D Dunn, and then Ace Thunder, A-Tabs, Kidger, all here that they're about, it looks like, a minute up from those boys that are making the chase. Catherine D from the KRT here racing for the women's, amongst the women. Let's go ahead and bring up ZwiftPower.com. Let's see if I can do it without too much drag on the system. I think I can. Yep, here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. We'll bring up the results. We'll start going through the results a little bit as we start to bring in the racers across the line for the C and the D category. But currently in the live results, over on ZwiftPower.com on the pretzel, half pretzel, we did have David Allenby with a first place finish, up in that 387 watts. Woo, baby. 5.0 watts per kilogram. 46.55 was the time. Tim Cartwright 1 second back, almost was able to grab onto him and go on by with that TT bike at 387 watts or so, and 1 second back with second place for the KRT team. So David Allenby, Vision Cycling, was able to take first, followed by Tim Cartwright in second place, and then Justin Pierficati for Team ODZ coming out of Canada for third place today in the A race. In the B race today, we had Robin Stevens. It looks like for TKBE, Stevens was able to hold it down solid ahead of Ole Bergton, riding for BCK, followed by Stephen Kumi. It looks like coming out of Great Britain for third place. But Old Bergton, there's a WRG there. I'm not sure what's up with that. So Sebastian Kuhn might have held down. We saw that live effort coming from Sebastian Kuhn. SK, riding for Vision Cycling. Maybe a third place. I'm not sure what's going on with the WRG there on ZwiftPower.com. But top four for sure, Robin Stevens. Well, top four preliminary, Robin Stevens, Old Bergton, Stephen Curry. Is it Kumi or Curry? I can't read it from here. And then Sebastian Kuhn for fourth place. And they were all right next to each other, within 4 seconds of each other, actually. So solid rides for those boys. Moving a little ways back now in the C race, we are seeing an upgrade for Marangan Marco. So then a little ways further down, we are seeing as well Alex Evans in the C race with an upgrade, and Chris Velsic with an upgrade. Anders Litchfield with an upgrade. Lee Springett with an upgrade. Jonathan Liven with an upgrade. Nice job. Congratulations on your upgrades. Paul Mason with an upgrade. Steve Milken. Calvin Pauls with an upgrade as well. Jesper Fox upgraded. Great job, all of you guys, with all of the upgrades. Great job in the C race to today. Stuart Bradstock, Darren Dunn, Rory Sullivan, all getting an awesome upgrade as well. We keep on moving through here. Catherine just crossed the line for the women. Great job, Catherine. Was she the first woman across the line? I'm going to go ahead and take a look through here, see if there are any other women that did come across the line recently. C. Miles here just crossed the line. Kidger now across the line. TPH, K. Knight, Ace, Thunder, Tabs. Dunn is here. Larkin. We are seeing Pedersen here. We've got a big gap there. We can't go too far back as that. You see it's not populating. It goes all the way back to 6 minutes or so. So you got to just, there's B-Bar actually with Kronberg. I have a feeling we should see Sudworth, who's about 16 seconds back. So we're going to go back. We'll get back to the results momentarily because we're going to want to see the battle here that's throwing down as we are seeing B-Bar just a little ways ahead. He was able to get the better of Kronberg and Sudworth, but we are seeing Sudworth here. Santa Maria now with an arrow power up though. About to cross the line here, just a little ways ahead of Sudworth. We'll get the better, it looks like, of the Irishman. Keeley. Oh, and now fades, though, right before the line, but the arrow power-up, I think, is going to do it for him. Then Keeley across the line, followed by Kronberg. Then Sudworth battling out right to the line, I believe. There it is, 5.6 watts per kilogram, just ahead of Kulowick. And we can actually get the instant replay of that effort. 359, it looks like, watts and 179 beats per minute. And this is where he comes right on by with that last little kick, almost into 400. He kicks it into 400 watts. Look at that great little instant replay up into that 182. Solid ride for Sudworth as he gets the better of those boys in the sprint. Great job there, Sudworth. Richard Sudworth, new to Zwift on board, and good to see him out there throwing it down. All right, so now moving back here, we can go ahead and see what is happening for the results. I'm going to go ahead and move through the season, see what it will be without the upgrades, if I can find anybody. Alex Evans, great job. Okay, we did already go through Alex all the way to, it looks like it's going to be Peter Reynolds, first-time racer in the, it looks like Peter Reynolds, 3.2 watts per kilogram, followed by Jonathan Cave. And then we do have, looks like Bart Dennis and Espen Solvin. And then Lee Mead. That's your top 5. A few of them still have upgrades, but the first one that came across the line at 3.2 watts per kilogram within the C category would be Peter Reynolds. First-time racer, actually. Nice to have you out of Australia. It's saying first-time racer, but he's got past results. That's interesting. Sometimes that happens, but nice job, Peter Reynolds, out there in the C category. So that'll be it for our coverage today, boys and girls, of the racing. We're going to go ahead I think we could be here for a whole long time. We'll make sure to watch a couple more sprints as they come across the line. Turbo Mike here coming out of Switzerland, just ahead of Grasso, followed by K Sabo in the C race. So thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. Jonathan Noblet, do we got anything coming down the pipeline? I think Thursday is going to be our next Zwift on board stream. Anything else, though, to chat about as far as events or anything on your mind that's coming down the pipeline here?
Well, I know that we've got the next Swift on Board stream here on Facebook. That's going to be on Thursday. Do we have a Vision Cycling training camp ride on Wednesday?
It's not scheduled yet, but I think we are going to be doing it. So Vision Cycling training camp ride tomorrow. You should be able to join it in the events. If not, we will just start at the start-finish line, but it should be in the events in the next 24 hours or so. And then go ahead.
I think maybe the only kind of big community thing that's coming up in the next few weeks, we've got lots of things, kind of being talked about coming from Zwift, but within the actual community, whilst we're on this KISS race, we do actually have a 1 year, the first birthday of KISS Racing coming up in the end of December. So it's something to keep an eye out on the social media platforms to see when information from that big birthday event is going to happen.
Yeah. So Kiss's birthday is coming up. The event will be announced soon. Make sure to keep eyes on that, everybody. It's going to be a huge event. I know there's big plans in the works, actually. So we're super excited for that to be coming down the pipeline. Other things, I mean, recent announcements, obviously, with Zwift that everybody's waiting on is that, iOS is coming really soon. There's hints that there's new, Bicycling Magazine recently did that article that was talking about the new course or part of the course that's going to be out on Watopia, it sounds like. So I think it's going to be on Watopia, I'm pretty sure. Lots of really cool stuff coming down the pipeline. So make sure, you guys, if you want to follow the rest of our streaming, we are live every single day on Twitch TV. We're live and partnered over on beam.pro /Nathan Guerra, Twitch TV /Nathan Guerra, as well as live on YouTube. You can follow on all those other places. If you want updates of any time we go live, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all those places. We're always hyping things up in all those places. Huge appreciation to Zwift for letting us go live here and run the race here. Huge shout out to Kiss and Zwift on board for making this all happen. And great shout out to the racers who all showed up, all 300 to 400 of you that showed up and are still out there hammering away. It looks like, actually, I think in the D race we are going to see, we're just going to barely catch right at the end of the broadcast here. I think Tisdale, it looks like, making his way to the finish, but I think some of the first D finishers just about to cross the line. Let's see if we can get back to we'll make sure that'll probably be a little bit of an outro here with the front of the D race. We've got Vangstad here out of Norway making his way to the bottom here. Zaksik here as well, 2.7 watts per kilogram, trying to battle with Psychology Bike Shop. Beat Pedersen, but I think there was one D rider just a little bit ahead of these boys. So T Coates, I think, was the first one to come across the line. I think second place will be going to we keep on having that little bit of a difference here with the loading, as you can see, but I think Vangstad will be the next D rider to be coming across the line, coming out of Norway, followed by R. Smith. That'll be your top three in the D category. So I'm glad we were able to catch that, as they are all kind of in no man's land in TT mode, barring any kind of mishap. Those will be your top three. Again, thanks everybody for joining in. It was great having you all here in stream. I'll be doing a ride out on Zwift later tonight, I believe. I'll be doing a ride either later tonight or momentarily on my streaming platform. So thanks again, guys, everybody, for joining in. Thanks a lot for all the Zwift on board boys, and we will see you guys Thursday here on Zwift's Facebook page for the next Kiss road race out on Zwift. Cheers, everybody.